Hi everyone, so I'm going to be going over my lesson with you today as briefly as I possibly can because the last video I made was 8 minutes long, so let's shoot for about 3 to 4. So what you need to know about this lesson is that it's for my foundations unit, and I actually plan on using it either this or next week, and it has to do with annotation. So my goal here is for students to be able to annotate with a focus on specific things like observing, questioning, and making inferences. And I also threw in identifying tone and mood here. And I know this sounds like a lot, but just so everyone kind of has an idea that my students have already practiced all of these things. It's just a matter of applying these skills to an actual reading piece through annotation. So what I'm going to start off this lesson with to hook my students in is the front loading with images strategy from Subject Matters. And here I have a packet that walks students through the reading process. And these are the images I chose. And this one is from the actual text. This one is kind of like a cover that was made for the text. We're reading The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, and it fits perfectly with the Halloween holiday. So again, they kind of give you this like creepy, eerie, just kind of like mysterious sense when you look at them. So when students analyze them and they look at what they immediately notice from these photos and the mood that it's making them feel, they're going to actually be building prior knowledge in the process. And they're kind of going to be wondering, Miss McKenna, what does this have to do with ELA? Why are you having us look at these pictures? And then I'll also prepare them for the reading by just having them predict what the Telltale Heart could be about just based off of the title. So that's kind of the pre-thinking work before we even jump into the annotations. And then the next part of the lesson, after we answer those questions, we share out, we prep them, right? Then I'm going to go into the mini lesson on annotating with a purpose. So I'll explain to them that good readers always have a focus in mind, and that as they go on in their reading lives and careers, that these things are just going to happen naturally to them. But for now, we're going to use these questions to help guide their thought process. And I can't expect students to have these thought processes while reading without showing them how to actually think like a good reader. So this is where the think aloud model comes in, also from Subject Matters. And that is right here where I'm going to read aloud this paragraph, and you'll see that I have comments, my annotations, and I'm going to read it out loud and stop and think and like kind of act out how I'd actually think through it. I'll probably say, wait, I should stop here and really think about the tone and what this tone has on the meaning of the text, and again, just basically showing them what they're going to be doing. So after they have that demonstration and they see how I think, they're going to practice it with a partner. And this is where the partner read aloud comes into play, because they'll break up this text in half, and each of them will get a chance to read. It's more fun to hear someone else's voice while you're reading, and it's just helpful to kind of do this work with a partner before they're gradually released to do it on their own. So yeah, and a partner reading also allows for each student to work on their reading fluency, because if I were to just choose to do a whole class read aloud, there would be about 5 students who get the chance to practice reading aloud. Meanwhile, the partner work kind of gives more of those students, gives everyone in the class the chance to actually read. So they'll do the same type of annotations I did, keeping these questions in mind, answering them, and again, doing it with their partner. Now, I wasn't sure how long I was planning for this lesson, but let's just say it was for a period. I would assume that at that point, after we share out what annotations we had made, and I kind of guide the discussion towards having them look at which annotations stood out to you, how are our annotations similar or different, what does the fact that our annotations were similar for this one say, and the fact that our annotations for this were different, what does that say? Maybe that we interpret our readings differently, and I would kind of go off on that tangent and then talk about the overall meaning of the text based off of what we decided to respond to. So after that, I'm going to have them reflect on their learning, and I do this usually at the end of all of my lessons, so I not only know what they got from it, but what they think they got from it. So that'll be the next part of the packet, where they kind of briefly think about their takeaways, and if they're struggling with anything, and this will be a good informal assessment for me to kind of get that. And this is the assessment piece where they do everything they did in class on their own. There is an audio book version if they would rather have someone read it to them. But in general, this is where they're practicing the thinking work that I keep mentioning. And then lastly, for the assessment piece, they'll answer these post-reading questions, which measures each specific objective that I have, so I have enough data on if they really understood it or not. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope that makes sense. I followed the model of mini lesson, model, partner work, independent work, and hopefully this actually goes well when I put it into practice, and I guess I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day, everyone.